In this video, I'm going to show you how to import a beat, a loop, or an instrumental track into GarageBand on your iPhone or your iPad. So let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. So if that's your kind of thing, consider subscribing. Now, here on the channel, I usually focus on creating your own music from scratch. However, sometimes you may want to collaborate with someone else who's made a beat. You may want to download and import a cool loop into your track, or you may just want to get an instrumental backing track and sing over the top to have some fun. So I'm going to show you how we can get this done quickly and easily using GarageBand. We are going to cover quite a bit in this video, so there's timestamps to help you out down in the description, as well as links to other resources to help you create in GarageBand. There's a few things that you'll need to get this done, but don't worry, they're all 100% free. The first thing you'll need is the GarageBand app. Now, that's available to download from Apple for free. There's a link down in the description. You'll also need the Files app. This enables you to access, download, and copy files on your iPhone or iPad. It should be pre-installed. If not, again, there's a link down below. And if you want to use the sample files that I'm going to provide in this demo, you'll need a free Dropbox account in order to download from my Dropbox. So grab a Dropbox account, once again, link in the description. So you can download loops and beats and instrumental tracks from a bunch of different places, but to make this demo as easy as possible so you can follow along, over on my website at studiolivetoday.com/loops, I've actually got this example here. So if we tap on this Pete's example loops download, this is going to jump us over to Dropbox. So this is why I said you'll need a free Dropbox account. If you don't have one, it'll just ask you to actually create one at the time. And here we've got three different files. I've got a WAV file, an M4A file, and then another WAV file. The reason for this is that this one is just an 8-bar beat. So this is just a loop that we can import into 8 bars and then loop. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And this one here is two versions of a full instrumental track, both the compressed version and a WAV file version. Now, if you are downloading loops and instrumentals and there is an option for a high quality WAV file, go with that option. That's going to be uncompressed and it's going to give you the best quality audio to import and use in your song. So let's start with this bottom one. It's a WAV file. It's a complete instrumental version of my song Imagination. So to download, we just tap on the three dots over here to the right, and then we come up and we tap on download. Now that's going to pop up and ask us if we want to download, because Safari, which is what we're using here, by the way, to go to the website, has a built-in download manager, which makes things super handy. So we tap on download, and then up the top right here, you can see that that's downloading. It won't take long, or depending on your connection, it'll take a few minutes to download, and then that will be in our downloads folder, ready to bring across into GarageBand. While we're here though, we might as well download these other two files. So again, we tap there, we tap on download, it pops up, we hit download, we do the same for the top one, tap download, it'll pop up, and we tap download. Now you can see at the top there, you can also open up the Dropbox app on your iPhone or iPad, which can make this even easier. So you can download directly to your own Dropbox and then import from there. But this way, I know it's going to put these right in our download folder. Now, before we continue on here, let's jump over to another website called freesound.org and grab another loop from there, just so that we can show you another way on a different website of doing the same thing. So here we are on freesound.org. Again, you'll just need a free account to sign up here. And this is a repository of a bunch of free sounds that you can use in your tracks. Now, what we can do is say we wanted a 110 BPM beat. We're going to search for that here in the search box and hit enter there. And this is going to bring up a bunch of different beats and different loops that we can download and play around with. So let's come on down here and find one. What about this old school break? I like me an old school break. So we can tap on that one to jump in. Here it is. Here's the sound. If we want to play it back just to test it out, we can hit the play button down here in the bottom left, and that will play the sound. Vinyl, crackle and all, sounding good. To download, not surprisingly, once again, we tap on the download button. The Safari download manager pops up, we hit download. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind here. You will need iOS 13, the latest version of iOS, to be able to actually use the download manager. It's a little bit trickier to download if you're on an earlier iPhone or iPad that doesn't have iOS 13. And number two is make sure that when you are looking for things like this, that you obey the Creative Commons or the attribution. So you can see see here, this one is Creative Commons. Some others will be not available for commercial use, or you have to provide attribution. So please, if you are downloading, and you can download from a bunch of different places, but that doesn't mean just because you can download it that you have the rights to use it. However, the good news is that these beats, these tracks, I give you the permission to do them. Otherwise, I'd be a bit crazy making this video. So let's now jump in and get these imported over into GarageBand and show you what we can do next. We're going to tap on the GarageBand logo and jump here into GarageBand. Now we need to firstly create a new song. So we're going to tap the plus button to create song, and it will pop us here. Now what I'll do is I'll set up for when I'm going to actually record the vocal track, and then we'll import in the beat over the top of that one. So I'm going to tap on more sounds here and just select vocals and radio ready, which is the vocal preset that I like to use. It's going to say yes. We're going to turn on our monitoring here because I've got an audio interface plugged in to record with my microphone, which again, I'll show you in just a moment. We can now tap on the track view up here in the top left to actually come back to this track view, because the first thing we want to do is import these beats, these loops, these instrumental tracks into GarageBand. So let's show you how to do that. Step one to importing is to make sure we have enough room to put the whole track in here. So what I recommend is coming to the top right where this little plus sign is. It's a little bit hard to see, but we tap on that plus, and now we can actually increase the size of our song section. So if I tap on this section A, what's the easier thing to do is to tap automatic. What this means is that it will create enough space for the size of the file that we bring in. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing we need to do is set up the BPM and the key signature, so the tempo and the key of this song. So to do that, we tap on the settings icon here. Now you may have noticed when we were showing that file that it said it was 110 BPM, and most of the loops that you download will tell you what their BPM is. This is important because it will set up your track to be at the same speed, the same tempo as what you're actually importing. So I'm going to leave that as 110. Now this happens to be in C minor, so we can just change this to C minor. That won't matter if you're just singing or rapping over the top, but if you want to add in other virtual instruments over the top of a loop, that can come in super handy. So that's all set up there. That's all we need to do. Now we can actually import this file. To do that, we come up to the loop icon here in the top right. We tap on that loop icon, and then here's all your Apple loops that you can usually bring in, but what we actually want is files. We're bringing in a separate file to import here, so we tap on files. Now there's nothing here in my GarageBand transfer folder yet because we haven't imported them. What we need to do is tap down the bottom on this item, browse items from the files app, and that's going to pop up here. Now, depending where it dumps you into, what I do is go back to the left, so go all the way left here to your locations, and downloads should be here under favorites. If you've downloaded them using the Safari download manager that I showed you, this is where they'll be. So we'll tap on downloads, and here they all are. We do need to add them one by one, but we can go ahead and do that now. So first and foremost, let's grab this instrumental track, the high quality version. If you only downloaded the lower quality version, the compressed one, you can do exactly the same thing with that one if you were struggling with bandwidth or downloads or whatever. But if we're using the high quality one, all we need to do is tap on this one here. It's going to import that, and it's going to pop it right here in our GarageBand file transfer folder. And from here, all we need to do to bring it across is tap and hold, drag that file, and put it down on this second track right here at bar number 1, release, and like magic, there it is. Now, that's only the first 8 bars of it, but if we zoom in by pinching with your fingers, we pinch to zoom, we can go in and we can see the entire track there is ready to go. Let's just give it a quick test run here by hitting play. And can you hear there that the metronome there that's at 110 BPM is hitting right on the beat? And if we say didn't have that right, so let's say we had this tempo wrong, we had this tempo at like 120 and we imported this file, we would have found that we'd have a problem a little bit like this. Can you hear how that is going out of sync? So that's what you want to do to make sure that you're within sync there, is make sure that your tempo matches here. Now, if you don't know the tempo, there's different apps and ways that you can work it out, but hopefully most places you download, or if someone provides it to you, if they've created it in their digital audio workstation, they should know what the tempo of that beat is. So there you go. That is bringing in an instrumental track. Pretty simple, yeah? Let's show you a slightly different way if you wanted to bring in a loop, say an 8-bar loop that you would then want to loop over and over again, and maybe you want to rap or sing over the top of that one. There you go. Sounds good, ready to go. And because we downloaded that other loop at 110 BPM, you guessed it, we can start layering these up. So let's show you how to do that now. So once again, we're going to come in here to our loops icon. We're going to browse. We know how to do this now. Pretty simple. We tap on this one here. It's going to bring it on in. This is the one we downloaded from freesound.org. And now we can do the same thing. Tap and drag this one. But let's say we actually wanted this to only come in here at bar 9 and then match up here. Now, the first thing you'll see there is that this one's actually only 4 bars. So that's okay. We know how to fix that. We just tap this, we tap again, and we loop. There you go. That's looped it out, so that'll continue again and again. Now let's just listen to this transition between these two, and if this loop will come in and sit nicely with our original loop here in GarageBand. So maybe it's not exactly the loop that you'd put here, but you get the point here, right? You can see how powerful this is, that we can add in different sounds to make our sounds customized. But that is not it, because you may be here because you want to see how we can actually now record our own audio over the top of a loop or an instrumental track. So that is what we're going to do right now. So with my setup here, I've got an audio interface and a microphone. I've got my Steinberg UR22C and my AKG D5 vocal dynamic microphone, and there's details of this setup down in the description, as well as links to where you can pick up the gear that I use. Now, if you're just using your headphones and the built-in mic or a headset mic, they work really well as well. You can do exactly the same thing. It's just going to be the difference of audio quality that you're going to get. So let's get this set up now. What we need to do, we've already got our microphone track there. In my case, I need to come here into the microphone, and we need to set up our input gain. Now again, I've got the input gain over here on my interface, so I'm just going to dial in the input gain there. If you have the built-in mic or your headphones, again, you may have a slider here. If you have no slider on some of your iPhone models, that won't be there at all. You'll just need to vary your distance from the microphone to make sure you're hitting the right levels when we're recording, which we'll talk about in a moment. Now we're in channel 1, which is correct here. To get the sound coming through your microphone, you need to tap this button to turn monitoring on. So let's do that now. So we've turned on monitoring, and now if I talk into this mic, you're going to be able to hear me coming through GarageBand as well. That's a little distracting, so we'll tap it off there. Now you can set these to whatever's going to work for you, because these can be changed after the fact. The one thing I would suggest you do is turn off pitch control, turn it all the way down if you're using something that has it. Feel free to turn it back on afterwards, there's no problem with that, but while you're recording, it actually creates a delay or some latency that is going to make it hard to record. The compressor, you can leave up a little bit, and then we can dial in delay and ambience to taste, so that when we turn it back on, check 1, 2, that's going to all sound good. So we're now ready to record. I'll just tap the monitor back off again. We'll come back out to our track view by tapping up in the top left corner here. And here you go, here's our tracks. Here we are ready to go. Now what I'd suggest you do is tap and slide this middle section out here, because this will give you access to all of these, including this button here, which is your monitoring. So if we tap on that one, we can now monitor our audio again, and we can tap again to turn it off if we need to. We also want to balance out these. So let's just hit play and just make sure that we're going to balance these if we're going to try and sing along. Let's do that now. La la da ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. That's going to be the next number one, the But But Bowl song. So that is all good. Those volumes are around about right. So now when you're set up and you're ready to record, all you need to do is make sure that you have the record light and the monitoring light here on your microphone, that these two tracks are playing back as well, that they're not muted out here or soloed, don't have any of that going on, and then we can just record. So I'm going to improvise something and just record it just to show you how we can do this now. Let's go. It's really not too hard to make your own backing track and then sing along. There you go. That is what the kids would call fire. Let's come back here, and you can see here we've now got our recorded track here over the top of our 2 tracks here, and we can now move these around to wherever we like. So say we wanted this to come in where our other beat comes in, we can move it to there. And now if we line this up, in fact, let's turn off the monitoring, because that's going to get distracting if you're hearing your own voice while you're doing this, not that you'd be commentating along. And now if we hit play, it's really not too hard to make your own backing track and then sing along. It really isn't. It's quite simple, and as you can see, we can do it really easily. Let's jump over to my complete track now, the complete backing track of the instrumental for this song, Imagination, and I'll sing a little take there just so that I can show you how this works with more of a long form kind of song. So we're going to close out of this project by tapping in the top left corner. That's going to save it out there, and you can see I've named this one Loops. Let's come in here to the instrumental. This is the one we set up before that's got the complete instrumental song of Imagination. So this is where if you were getting a backing track, an instrumental track, a karaoke track, you would be able to bring it in here and then get set up. So let's quickly set up again as we did before. We'll drag out our panel here so we can make sure that we can pop on our monitoring. And why is it not working? Well, that's because we don't have it tapped there. So that's something I wanted to show you here, that if it's off there, it's not actually going to be monitoring. So if you tap on another one and you're like, hey, why is my microphone not working? It's got to have the record light on. And to have the record light on, it has to be selected like that. Now, as you can probably hear, we've got some of that latency. So we need to go back in and reset up our microphone. Reminder on that one is we tap on the microphone icon there. It pops us up here. Here's the problem. Pitch control's on. Turn that one back off. I actually like to add even bit more delay to my vocals. I think it just helps me hit the right notes. So we're going to add some delay there. And then if we tap our monitor back on, checking, oneing, twoing. So there's that delay, but this time it's not latency delay. I'm still hearing the original. I'm just hearing a bit of delay, which helps me with the vocals. So let's come back here to our backing track and get ready to record. So once again, we're just going to hit play and just test our levels and make sure everything's okay here. So let's just come further down here and hit play. Sometimes I sit around and wonder how it is I got here and if I'm going under all the complications of my past. Yeah, so sounding okay. That delay is actually a little bit too distracting. Too much delay, Pete. So again, you can just make this whatever it's going to be. Customize it to your taste and then come back out here. So what I'm going to do now is I'll record a full take. Don't worry, you don't have to watch the full take. I'll record a full take and you'll just see a little bit of that. And then I'll come back and I'll show you a few other little tricks that we can do to mix this together and make it sound cool. Sometimes I sit around and wonder how it is I got here and if I'm going under all the complications of my life, all the times when I couldn't reach the knife in my back, to the days when I was a little kid, always worried about the things I never did. Imagination. So there you go. There is our track. If anything, I probably had my input gain up a little too much. Probably could have turned that down a wee bit as I was singing along there. But let's come back in here and listen to a little bit of this. So if we come here to what is the second verse here and we hit play on this one. Nations warring, everything is burning. Kind of surprised that the world keeps turning. Mother Nature is kicking out. Yeah, so that's sounding pretty good. The good thing here though is that now we can come in here to our microphone again. And we can change any of these options. So if we want the compressor a little bit lower, maybe we don't want that much delay or ambience on here, we can do that. We can also come in here to the plugins and EQ by tapping on the mixer icon, going to plugins and EQ, and now we can completely fully customize here. So we can add in different effects, we can change effects around, we can remove effects and add in new effects to make the sound exactly what we want it to be. So here I've just added in a little more reverb directly on the track here, and now we can take a listen. Harass and never seem to learn the lessons of our past. Instead of happiness, we're chasing money, and I think that's kind of funny. So we can start sort of customizing, and I'm not going to go into all of the different plugins and effects because I've got a heap of videos on that, and some of those will be linked down in the description that you can check out. But you can see here that very quickly we can bring in our backing track, we can sing along, and this can be, like I say, any track that you like here. Keep in mind copyright. Please don't be grabbing tracks from people that you don't have the rights to use, especially if you're using them to upload to YouTube and Facebook and other places publicly. That's not going to be cool and probably going to end badly for all concerned. But if you're going to download an instrumental track, bring it on here into GarageBand. It's a quick and simple way to get yourself a custom track together. So once you've done your mixing and you're happy with the final product, well, all you need to do is tap in the top left here, and now we can actually share this out. I wanted to show you this because there's a little bit of a trick here at the moment. So to share this, we need to tap select in the top right corner. We're going to tap on our track here, and in the bottom left, we're going to tap on share. Now we can either share the project, but what you'll probably want to do is share the actual song file. So we tap on song, and we can choose anything from low quality M4A or compressed file right up to uncompressed wave. I recommend uncompressed wave if you can. It's going to be the best quality, and then if you're using it with something like iMovie or to upload to Facebook or YouTube, it's going to be compressed there anyway. So try and keep it uncompressed if you can. We're going to tap on share. Now what we need to do is make sure you hit open in. Don't go straight down here and try and save it. Hit open in, because this is going to export the song, and then we can save it to wherever we like. We can put it back in that downloads folder, any folder on our iCloud drive, anywhere on our iPad or iPhone. So there you go. It is all done. We just need to tap save to files now, and you can save it wherever you want. So here I've got different folders that are on my iCloud drive, or you can save it directly to on my iPad. I recommend iCloud drive just to make sure you keep a copy. So I've got a Studio Live Today Beats and Loops folder. I'll save it in there, and there you go. It's now saved, and I can use that in other applications. I can share it, I can copy it, I can do whatever I want. It's there as a WAV file, good to go. I hope you got some value out of this one. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and if you do create something with either my loops and beats here or your own, please drop a link to those down in the comments. We would love to hear them. Thanks again, folks. I'll see you next time.